Hey guys, welcome back to the show. If you are a business owner looking to exit in the next few years, here's a question worth asking. How much cash does your business require to run day to day? That might not feel like a big deal. After all, you may have solid revenue, good margins, and hopefully you do. But here's the kicker. The more cash your business eats up just to keep running, the less it's actually worth to a buyer. So that's what we call the valuation teeter-totter. So let's think about this from a visual standpoint. If you think of a teeter-totter on the playground, on one side is the cash needed to operate your business. And on the other side is the company's valuation. So when the cash needed side gets higher, the valuation side drops, right? And when the cash needed to run the business goes down, the valuation rises. So why is that? It's because buyers don't write just one check to you. They also have to write a second check to fund the company's working capital. And the more capital that they need to inject just to keep things going when they purchase your business, the less that they're going to be willing to pay for the business itself, right? So how do we plan around this or solve for this? So here's three core strategies that we want to focus on. The first is to accelerate your receivables and how quick you get paid, right? So the goal here is to get paid faster for the value that you're already delivering. So for many service-based firms, cash flow delays are built in and often just accepted as the way it is. But I'll give you a quick example from my own practice. In the past, we were primarily compensated through assets under management. And that meant doing a lot of work up front and often months of planning, meetings, and implementation before any revenue actually came in. And we realized that that's not a really sustainable, it's not an ideal way of growth, right? Or for cash flow. So we made a shift. Now we begin every engagement with a paid strategy session. This allows us to provide immediate value while also establishing some financial commitment there, right? It's a small commitment with a lot of value with a little bit of cash flow. And if both sides feel like it's a good fit, we move into comprehensive planning. So whether that's focused on business exit planning or personal retirement planning, but we take a deposit up front for that and then spread the balance over the next few months as we work on the plan. It's kind of like a retainer style model, right? And so it helps clients by breaking up the cost, but it helps us by generating steady, predictable cash flow up front. So we look at this as a win-win. Clients get to see value early on, but we're also compensated for that value we're delivering, right? As a client, you have multiple stepping off points before committing to a long-term investment planning or other engagement, which also makes it, important for us to build confidence in our clients, but also as a client, you're seeing value delivered as promised before you're committing to anything up front. So that's been one way that we've been able to get more cash flow up front early in relationships while still providing a ton of value and having that win-win for clients as well. Just another thing I wanted to bring up here is if you're exploring ways to improve your receivables, get more cash flow coming in early, I highly recommend Alex Hermosi's new book, which you may have already heard of, but if not, it's called Money Models. And it's got a ton of different frameworks for building cash flow pricing structures. And as a bonus, as a listener or viewer, depending on if you're watching or listening to this, the first 20 listeners or viewers who email me info@retirementplanningsimplified.ca, I will send you a code for a copy of Money Models on me. So that's the first 20 people to email us info@retirementplanningsimplified.ca. Just say, hey, I want to get my copy of Money Models, and we'll send you a code to redeem your free copy. So back to the core strategy. So we want to get our cash quicker if we can. So number 2 is extend payables. So to our vendors, for example. So we're going to look at timing your expenses. Can you renegotiate payment terms with your suppliers so you can delay your cash outflows? Obviously, you don't want to hurt relationships, so you want to strategically negotiate these in a way, again, that's win-win ideally. But even if you can just extend payment cycles by like 15 to 30 days, that can dramatically improve your cash position. So again, be sure to communicate clearly and protect those vendor relationships along the way. But the further out you can push what you're paying, the better. And then the third thing is optimizing inventory. So inventory can tie up a ton of cash, right? So specifically for product-based or parts-heavy businesses. So you want to keep an eye on your turnover rates. Do you carry more stock than you actually need? So reducing your inventory levels or adjusting order cycles to better match demand can free up capital and improve cash flow without sacrificing service. So how can you get more efficient in that area, right? So I gave you an example of our business and how we bring cash forward. But here's some other big company examples. So just kind of want to emphasize these aren't just concepts, right? They're actual theory. So the first is Dell Computers. So Dell gets paid before they even start building a customer's computer. So that build to order model minimizes the amount of inventory they need to keep on hand, but it maximizes cash flow because everything's paid up front. Airbnb, they collect your payment at the time of booking, but they don't actually pay the host until the guest checks in. So that gap gives them a significantly positive cash flow cycle. And then one other example, Zara, the fast fashion retailer. So they wait to pay suppliers until after most items have sold. So this helps them maintain a lean, cash efficient model. So even though your business may look different, these principles still apply. The less cash your business needs to operate, the more it's worth when it comes time to sell. So it's an important concept. It's not necessarily that difficult. It's just being intentional about this, right? I think this is something a lot of people don't really think about. And often they just accept whatever terms they're given with suppliers. And they're just thinking about, making it as easy as possible for clients to buy, which is a good thing. But if you're providing the value, you can show that value. It's okay to get paid some money up front for that value. Okay. So just to kind of wrap this up, the valuation teeter-totter is often one of the most overlooked, but most powerful levers in boosting your business's value. Again, because it's not a big lift often. It's not just about how much revenue you make, it's about how efficiently that revenue is converted to cash. So by implementing one or two or three of these strategic tweaks we just talked about, you can free up your working capital, improve the value of your business, and therefore just become more appealing to serious buyers, right? So that's it for today. Again, this is just a continuation in those drivers of company value. In the next episode, we're going to have another one and keep this rolling until we get through all 8. And just before I sign off, don't forget the first 20 people to send me an email, info@retirementplanningsimplified.ca. We will send you out a code for the Alex Hormozi Money Models book. All right, guys, take care, and we'll chat next time.